You've persevered. Job well done. Good job. And see, the same can be said about us. The same can be said about our marriages. A couple that's been together for more than 5 years. Way to go. Way to keep together. It's a good job. Because you know what? Being together is not an easy thing. How many of you could say that it's been a piece of cake? How many of you guys' marriages has been a piece of cake? Raise your hand.
Piece of cake.
It's not. It requires work. It requires work. And you know what? Sister Annie read it today. 1 Corinthians 13:4 says, love is patient, love is kind. I'm not always patient, I'm not always kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude, it is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps record of no wrongs. How many of you guys can just forgive everything like nothing at a drop of a dime? And just say, whatever, it's okay. Just like when you were in love the very first time. It's not that easy. It's not that easy. You expect more. It's work. And number two, through this work, unfortunately, we know how hard relationships can get, and unfortunately, it can become hard for us. It can be difficult. How many of you guys have went through things in your life that, you're surprised you're still together? There's things. Me and my wife have had a great marriage, but I could say maybe twice in 9 years, twice that we've had two really, really difficult times. That it was hard. It was questionable, and it was like, okay, what's going to happen? But the point of it all was we didn't let it go. We didn't let things rest. We allowed God to actually help us out through it. And that's the key in your relationship, is letting God help you through it. Verse 4 says, yet I hold this against you. You have forsaken your first love. You see, the funny thing is that God, He's giving the church, or John's giving the church of Ephesus an encouragement here. He's saying, you know what? You guys have done a great job. You guys have, endured hardships. You persevered. But, there's always that but in the Bible. There's always that yet. I hold this against you. You have forsaken your first love. It's good and all when you're working hard and you're working on your relationship, whether it be with God or whether it be in your family. But the problem is sometimes we can get so caught up in that work that we forsake that first love. That we forget about how we fell in love. And it no longer means anything. You see, in our walk with God, we can grow apart. And yes, even while we do work. Sometimes you become so focused on your ministry. You become so focused on trying to do right, maybe. Not just letting it happen. Not just focusing on your relationship with God, but trying to do something. That it ends up costing you in your personal relationship with God. There's been a time in my life, actually, where I got really busy. And it began to affect me. But I had to realize that. I had to stop and say, you know what? I'm not spending time like I used to with God. How many of you guys spend time like when you first fell in love with God? You guys remember what it was like when you first fell in love with God? No matter what, it didn't matter what it called for. It didn't matter what the workload was. You were there. You would do it. Amen. Because you know what? You loved God. There was that relationship with God. It was strong. And you realized where He brought you from. And see, and that's the key. Is you've got to remember where God's brought you from. What has He saved you from? What has He pulled you out from? What miracles has He done in your life? What blessings has He given you? That you did not deserve. Neither did I. We didn't deserve it. But yet, God still blessed us. God still helped us. That's the one thing that we cannot forget. And we can't get so busy. We can't get so caught up in the work of doing ministry or just doing things that we forget the number one thing, which is our relationship with God. Your love for God. In our marriages,
it's not worth it.
Adrian is worse. He's just confused.
You don't see what's happening in
Yeah, I do see. What are you? Yeah, you twist around my duke.
No,
I see
come on,
what's
it's
happening.
you. It's you. It's not him. You can't live backwards. Come on, you can't turn back the clocks. We live now. We live here.
Hey, Adrian, I know where we live. What do you think? I'm stupid? I'm not as dumb as you think I am. You know, you don't think I can smell it? I see where we are. Adrian, I don't want this no more. I want something good for the family. I don't want this. I don't want this. I mean, did I come back here and get my brains beat out for these guys to say, hey, there goes Balboa. There's just another bump in the neighborhood. I didn't want this.
No, come on. Nobody says that.
I'm saying it, Adrian. I'm saying this. I'm saying this. When that kid was in the ring, you know what I was doing? I was winning. When he was winning, I was winning.
You were winning?
Yeah, it was. It was my last chance at getting some respect for us. Do you know that?
Come on, I respect
it's gone,
you.
It's gone.
I respect you.
You can't respect me.
Yes,
I respect
I
myself.
do.
No, you can't do it. I'm telling you that.
All those beatings you took in the ring, I took them with you. I know how you feel. I know when somebody like Tommy comes along, you feel alive. But he's not you. He doesn't have your heart. All those fighters you beat him with heart, not muscle. That's what Mickey knew. That's why you and Mickey were special. But Mickey's dead. If there's something you want to pass it on to your son. For God's sakes, your son is lost. He needs you. I know Tommy makes you feel great. He makes you feel like you're winning again. But you're losing us. Rocky, you're losing your family.
I'm sorry. You know, it was always you and me. It was always you and me.
So what is the thing in your life that is holding you back in your marriage? What is the thing that's holding you back from becoming greater in your marriage? See, to him, it was his fighting lifestyle. It was what it was back in the past. It was holding him back. It was wanting to be great again. He was focusing so much more on that he forgot about his son. He forgot about his wife. And that can hurt. It can hurt. See, your job may become more important, that it causes you to grow apart. Who knows? It might be your finances. It might be dreams that you might have had, or issues from your past that one of you can't let go. And that hurts. It can hold you back. It can cause you to grow apart. You see, unfortunately, it can cause some couples to go so far apart that you don't even want to apologize anymore. You know, and all of a sudden, you're possibly even thinking of making this your #1 song. You know, while you're mad at your wife or you're mad at your husband. You know, you don't want to apologize because you're so caught up that you're right, that you want this. But you got to remember that first love. See, and the sad thing is that you get so caught up and you don't want to apologize, that later on it begins to hurt. It becomes bitter. And it hurts you so bad that all you have left is sadness. And there you are, just singing. It's just another sad love song. That's all you keep singing. It's another sad love song. You guys all know this song. You guys remember what this was. This is old. Another sad love song. Okay, I better not sing. See, and the sad thing is that there are those couples who make it seem like it's a joke to break up and get back together. Break up and get back together. Some couples are so backwards that this becomes their favorite song. You just want to break up and make up every single time. I know for you, man, that's probably your song. Let's break up, honey. Let's break up because we can make up. But you know what? It's sad. Some couples do have it backwards like that. Because you know what? God didn't intend for us to be growing apart. You know what Genesis says about the woman? It says that He made her His helper. And yet, I know there's one part of the Bible in Ephesians that talks about, Ephesians chapter 5 talks about husbands and wives and them submitting to, the wife submitting to the husband and this and that. Some people take that out of context, but they forget about what it says next. It says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. With all the hang-ups the church had, with everything the problems that the church brought to him, he still loved the church. And we need to